This is Dan. Welcome to another episode, The House of Broken Dobbs Things. Today we're going to try a little adventure around the TouchDRO DIY kit. So this is a couple of different options you have. You can buy the complete box that I've shown before, which worked out very well. And this is the lower cost option if you don't mind doing a little soldering. Yuri's put together a very, very nice little kit. It's very tidy to help you with building your own module. So one of the aspects here is the board, which is pre-printed, ready to go to install the components that he has provided. This is, I think it was around $39. It's very, very reasonable. It's all there. You could spend that much on shipping just to get everything pulled together. So he's pulled it all together for you. So it's a very, very nice little kit. So I'm just going to lay stuff out here to kind of show you what's in the box. So we have the printed board. I'll bring this up here just so you can see it. Sorry for the glare. It has most everything laid out, highlighted, and obviously he has the TouchDRO logo on it. But then he has everything else pretty much on the boards laid out for you. Here's going to be for the Bluetooth module. I'm going to put that on later. Everything on this side, very, very similar to the old TI board that I currently am using. It's got it laid out here for the power, the battery, the tack, and a logic probe if you want to use one of those to touch off. And the CPU is going to go right here, and then all of your axes going in are all labeled. So X, Y, Z, and W. And I'm going to have my own separate kit. You can wire directly to these and directly solder if you'd like. That's fine and tidy. But in addition to that, you can actually buy small breakout boards which are set up for the micro USB port. So I actually have those. Those are kind of nice, so I'm going to use those. And not that there's anything wrong with soldering them on there. It's just I like the ability to go ahead and connect and disconnect on that one. So from here, I go ahead and tie this up inside the little soldering stand that I've got here. Thanks to my wife for asking my son what she should get me. I'll give you a view of it right there. So it's a very nice setup. It's got these Dr. Octopus arms here, and you can't see it here, but there's a magnifier, lighted magnifier, so I can get right up in there, put my nose to the magnifier and do it. Nice LED light behind it, ring light, so very tidy, and I can actually see for a change and not squint. So I have my glasses on, I can see just fine. Now within this, Yuri has also provided on his website, TouchDRO.com, a very nice step-by-step, very clear walkthrough. So before I get into that, let's take a look at the parts again. I'm going to show you what you're getting. This is the module itself, the actual processor. This is the Bluetooth transmitter receiver. This is the voltage regulator. Here we have the power outlet. This is going to use a standard wall wart. I think it's a 2.1 millimeter. We'll get into that in a little bit. Capacitors, 2 LEDs. They're going to flash different colors for different things. This is a header that you can actually plug onto the board and give yourself a point to break it out. It'll actually fit the form factor on the board. Very nice. Resistor, a couple of capacitors, and a couple of other resistors, and a couple of diodes. Again, if you go on to like Mouser and a DigiKey or something like that, it's going to take you a while to put this all together. Yeah, you can probably get it all together, but you may not be able to get everything, and the quantity you want to buy may not be the right one, but very tidy. It's all there. And this additional wiring harness is he's giving you like 3 different options for mounting the Bluetooth module, where you want to stand it up, move it remotely, or solder it directly down flat on the board. You can do all of those things, but again, very nice, tidy. I keep using that word tidy because it is. It's all there. So from that one, we're going to see how quick we can put this together. Soldering iron is warmed up, ready to go, and I will bring you back when I start going through step 1. Well, how well can you see when you're looking through your magnifier? I think you can see right there You can see pretty darn well where this is all set up, and it's held up in the air. You're not wrestling the thing. So we'll be putting the board together, but I figured I'd share that view with you so you can kind of see. Bring you back. Okay, step number one, we are going to apply the capacitors. I'm just going to borrow my screen here for just a second. Right here, the yellow ones right here, these are the capacitors we're going to pull off with our 0.1 microfarad. So we're going to pull those off and we're going to install those in the C5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 11, and 10. They're marked directly on the board, so we're going to make that happen. Okay, I've just started off here with C10, just to give you the idea. Basically, you just bend the pins into the slot. Here it's marked C10. Just push it right through, and on the back side, we kind of got that flush and tidy. We're just going to take those prongs and we're going to bend them outward. Okay? That's going to basically just hold it in a position. In a minute, we're going to solder that, and we're going to snip the ends off of it. What's that look like? Okay. Here's the one I just put through, right here. And I've taken those pins and I've bent them over so it will stay in position. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the remainder of those, and then I will bring you right back. Okay, we've got all the capacitors installed. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we've got them all, and they are, just to give you this view, they're all into position, and they're all off of these right here, C5, C6, 7, 8, and so forth. So now we're going to solder those in place. Take just a minute. Alright, this is what you're going to wind up with when you get ready to solder. You see that the capacitors came through. We bent the tabs over so they'll hold in position. So bend it over this way. Get the general idea. Soldering, again, not a lot of tough there. Okay, capacitors are all done. Probably not the nicest one. I've been kind of struggling with the solder I've got, and the soldering iron, I'm not used to it. It's brand new, so sometimes it's like a welder. It just flows really, really nice. Now, the one thing you want to look for is cold joints. I think I've kind of got those. You put it through, then you basically do the solder joint, then you snip it, and you're all good. Okay, on to step 2. Okay, we've added the 2 resistors right here. Drop those right in there in R3 and R2. So we're going to solder those in. Alright, next step, we're going to do a 47,000 ohm resistor right here. So it's going to be right above the other 2 that we did. Okay, so it's a single resistor. There's only 3 resistors in the box. 2 of them are the same, and this one is the only oddball. So if you're looking at colors, he outlines it pretty well on the diagram as well. Okay, the next step is going to be the Schottky diodes right here, and black band is going to go against a white band on this side right over here. There's 2 configurations he mentions here. I'm going to use the conventional configuration, not do anything fancy. Otherwise, you could power your board or the scales off of something different, but I'm just going to go straight up with what he's got listed. Okay, got the 2 diodes right here with the black bands facing off against the white band. What he's talking about there, if you look at the board behind it, there is a white line on that side. So that's the way he wants them oriented. So we're going to do it. Alright, next stop is going to be the MSB 430 microcontroller. And the orientation U1 is directionally has been served with a notch in the body facing the same way as a notch on the silk screen. Okay, we'll check that. Okay, you can probably see this barely, but the microcontroller is going to go right here, and there's a notch cut right on the body so you can see that. Now, on the flip side, there's actually a notch right here. Whoa, easy camera. There's a notch right here that is going to align with. So we're going to drop the chip right on the board with the two notches lined up just like you said. Okay, notch on the board, the pins are in there. One thing you'll have is the prongs will actually be spread out a little bit. You need to bring those in. I took it on one side, lined them up, and then I just very, very gently just worked them in right across there. It fits in there nice and snug now. No bending these pins. We're just going to go to the back side and solder them. There's going to be a lot, so I'll bring you back. Okay, next up we have the LEDs, and the microcontroller actually soldered on very nicely. You don't have to do the whole pad, but you can just get it on there. It's just going to be carrying a signal, so it's not a big, huge current carrying thing. But yeah, they're soldered on there very nicely. I'll bring you back. Okay, next step, it's hard to identify the diodes on that one, so I'm going to leave them loose until I have opportunity to check and make sure that they're functioning. So next stop is going to be the power adapter. Okay, on to the other capacitors. We have two, looks like 100 microfarad capacitors, and these do require orientation. So you'll notice the stripe here is going to be facing out towards the power outlet. Okay, everything's plugged in. We added the header for the Bluetooth. We went ahead and put the cables on. They are exactly like you would expect. You don't use the outer two to plug into the inner ones. It's based on what the diagram or what the picture shows on the website. So then you just line it up like this and plug them in the same order. It's a ribbon cable. It shouldn't be that difficult. I think I just caught myself in an issue. Oh, okay. Shouldn't be that difficult, but I made it difficult. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Probably all the difference of it working or not. Okay. So orange, straight shot, red, straight shot, and then brown and black. Okay, well, let's plug it in and see what's going on. Standard, I think it's a 2.1 millimeter wall wart. Okay, we've got power. That should go into a once a blink scenario there. Let's see if we can pair Bluetooth. Okay. The first words I would recommend is don't panic. As of right now, the board is hot. Everything's working. I had one issue with the Bluetooth. It was one of those things that happen. One of the header pins had pushed through. I had to flip the board over and I took a look and it's like, oh, there it is. So I just had to resolder that one. And then you can come over here, you can see that we are connected. I don't have any scales on this one yet, but you can see we're connected. And from this one I'll disconnect. We are an HC05. So now I have HC06, which is the mill. I have TouchDRO, which is the lathe. And now I have this other module, which is hot and ready to work. And it is going to be HC05. And it's pairing up nicely. Now I can get to work on getting a scale to talk to it. I have that one extra scale that I've been having around here. Let's see if I can get that to talk to it. But I'm printing a project box for it. I've been continually modifying the design a little bit. It's not going to be as elegant as some things, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be something I built. So as of right now, the board is working. Not the most elegant soldering I've ever done, but as far as the kit wise, it was very doable. Get yourself about 90 minutes. Good soldering iron. This is so we took a bare board from scratch, we followed Yuri's directions. That's Yuri's Toys, or TouchDRO is where I purchased it from. That's his store. Small family business, and everything was there. Absolutely everything was there. Instructions couldn't have been more clear. The only other small item there was I couldn't see the notch on the LEDs, so that's why I left those loose, and I just spun them around once I got it powered up. Everything was fine. Nothing's getting hot. Everything seems to be fine. I'd recommend the kit to anybody who likes to solder and have anything, but as I've shown you the other one, the complete kit, it's ready to go. You just plug it in and pair and you're all set. But if you're a little more adventurous, this is about $40 cheaper to do it this way. Now, the other one is a better chip. I think it's a 16-bit chip. This is an 8, but I've never really had a need, to worry about that. It does a little bit better job of scrubbing it because Yuri has designed it basically himself and has refined it over several years. So with that, I think it's a great DIY kit, even if you're just wanting something to do while you're cooped up in the wintertime. This was, like I said, hour and a half, a little bit of solder, everything comes with it, and it works. So I'll get a scale hooked up and we'll qualify that, but as of right now, this is a success, even though I was involved. Thanks, and we'll bring you back. Well, I gotta tell you, holy crap, it works. I've just got one of the breakout boxes jumped into the board because I'm working on the project box, getting it sized. This is just one of my prototypes. So I've got it jumped in from a breakout box, the little micro USB, into the board, and you are looking at that spare Access 8, and you're looking at it in real time. So we have a nice stable signal. Notice how the third digit isn't jumping around and going crazy. That's very nice. That's an improvement. Here's metric. Zeroed out. Alright. Oh, look at that. As I mentioned before, it works even though I was involved. So, yeah. I mentioned in the previous comments, it's up and working, it's stable, it's rock solid, and I was able to solder it together. I don't have the most gorgeous soldering. If anybody's making fun of I was bored and I doubled up on both sides of the board. It was well soldered underneath, but I doubled up and just touched up on the top, and as I mentioned, I was wrestling with this solder and it really wasn't the best, so it may go out to the garage for tail light wiring repairs or something like that, but not really up to the job, at least at my skill level, on this board. So with that, I'd say that we've used the fully assembled. I've made the old MSP board directly from TI. I've been using that for several years. It's working great. So this is a rock solid design, and I think most anybody could do this with a few minutes and a little bit of patience. So from that, I will call it a night, and thanks for watching, and I'll post this up, and then we'll move on to the next one. What this means is I've already got a board ready. I have a project box ready. All I need is scales, and then I can move on to the next machine and add DRO. So very economical, around $40 for the kit. I put it together myself. Yeah, it's probably, if you want to, I mean, if you don't want to touch any of this, go ahead and buy the fully assembled board. You can print your own 3D box and save yourself about $20, or you can order it with a box like I did. So it's extremely economical. You put that in. Let's say you go the full board with a box, and it's going to be $100, and then you add in 2 axes like I did on the lathe, an X and a Y. One was like 39. I think the other one was like 65. So call it 200 in. You're all set to go. Yes, you can get a cheap DRO out of China, but again, I'm sure it's fine. I've tried ordering that before. I've gotten always never further than the looking and trying to figure out what it is exactly I was buying. So this one, it's a known commodity. I've been using. I have good experience with it. Is it professional? No. Can it do professional work? Yes. So I like it. That's what I'm using in my shop. And thanks to Yuri and the team that basically volunteered for betas and all these other things, I'm benefiting from it now, and I'll be a customer of his moving forward. Thank you.